You are looking at a being who was once so feared that an entire nation held festivals just to keep him calm. He is Ryomen Sukuna, the King of Curses, a sorcerer from Japan's Heian era who slaughtered elite military squads without breaking a sweat and earned a reputation as history's strongest Jujutsu user. He has 4 arms, 2 faces, and a level of raw destructive control that no other cursed being in his story has ever matched. Sukuna is not just powerful. Now, let us actually think about what that means. To understand Sukuna, you have to understand cursed energy. Cursed energy is negative human emotion given physical form. Fear, jealousy, shame, all of it builds up in people and in the world around them, and if enough of it accumulates, it becomes something that can be shaped and used like a weapon. Most sorcerers spend years learning to convert this energy into a single unique ability, called a cursed technique. Sukuna has 2, which is already almost unheard of. The first is called Dismantle, a precise cutting attack that can slice through nearly anything, cursed or not. The second is called Cleave, a heavier slash that adjusts its force based on how tough the target is. He also commands something called Domain Expansion, a technique that normally traps an enemy inside a pocket dimension built entirely to guarantee a hit. Sukuna's version, the Malevolent Shrine, doesn't even need walls. It simply exists in the open world, a 200-meter zone of overwhelming lethal force. On top of that, he can heal himself and others using something called Reverse Cursed Technique, a rare skill that converts cursed energy into a restorative force instead of a destructive one. Put simply, Sukuna does not just fight well, he fights with almost no weaknesses. It also matters that Sukuna is not reliant on Jujutsu alone. His physical strength and reflexes are already at a level that most trained fighters cannot match, which means even if you strip away every cursed technique he owns, you're still left with a body that moves faster and hits harder than almost anything around it. That detail becomes important later, because it means his power is not a single point of failure. Take away one tool, and 2 more remain standing behind it. Now, set Sukuna aside for a moment and look at the other side of this equation, the world of Naruto. In that universe, power does not come from negative emotion. It comes from chakra, a blend of physical stamina and spiritual willpower that exists inside every living person. Long ago, a figure named Hagagoro, often called the Sage of 6 Paths, spread this energy to humanity in the hope that it would bring people together. Instead, people turned it into a tool for combat, and that tool split into 3 branches. Ninjutsu uses chakra to produce elemental effects, like fire, lightning, or water. Genjutsu uses chakra to plant illusions directly into an opponent's senses, making them see or feel things that are not real. Taijutsu is hand-to-hand combat, relying mostly on physical skill with only a small amount of chakra reinforcing the body. Beyond these 3, some ninja learn to draw in natural energy from the environment itself and blend it with their own chakra, entering a state called Sage Mode, which sharpens every sense and multiplies raw strength. And all the way at the top of the power scale sit the Tailed Beasts, massive living reservoirs of chakra sealed inside human hosts called Jinchuriki, giving ordinary people access to power that can flatten mountains. There's also a hierarchy of control involved. A Jinchuriki doesn't automatically command the beast living inside them. Most spend years fighting for dominance over that power, and some never win, becoming vessels the beast pulls strings through rather than true masters of it. Chakra, in other words, is not just fuel, it's a relationship between the user and the source, and that relationship can go either way. So, now put both of these systems side by side and ask what actually happens if Sukuna is born into that world instead of his own. The first thing to understand is that his techniques don't disappear or get weaker just because the fuel source changes. Cursed energy and chakra are both internal power drawn from a living body and shaped by will and control, so the underlying mechanic transfers cleanly. What changes is how the rest of the world sees him. In the Naruto universe, unique abilities like his usually come from a bloodline, something called a Kekkei Genkai, passed down through a clan and studied for generations. Sukuna's techniques would look like that from the outside, except with one enormous difference. Nobody else would have them. He wouldn't be the strongest member of a powerful clan. He'd be a clan of one, holding 2 innate techniques when most bloodline users only ever get 1. This is where things start to break in interesting ways. The entire ninjutsu system in that world is built around elemental strengths and weaknesses. Fire beats wind, water beats fire, lightning beats water, and so on, creating a rock-paper-scissors logic that shapes almost every fight. Sukuna's Dismantle and Cleave don't care about any of that because they're not elemental attacks, they're direct assaults on structure and durability itself. A ninja who counts on an elemental advantage to survive an exchange would find that advantage meaningless the moment Sukuna's blade-like technique reaches them. Genjutsu also runs into a wall here. Illusions work by hijacking the senses through chakra intrusion, but Sukuna's focus and control over his own energy is so exact that tricking his mind would require a level of finesse most Naruto characters simply don't have. His weakness wouldn't be mental or elemental, it would be physical and structural, the same as it always was, meaning fights against him still would come down to who can survive contact and who cannot. But something else changes too, and this is the part people miss. In his own world, Sukuna's power survives death, sealed into 20 cursed fingers that can be found, consumed, and reactivated centuries later. That concept isn't foreign to the Naruto universe at all. Sealing techniques are one of its oldest and most respected arts, used to trap tailed beasts inside human bodies for generations. If Sukuna existed there, his fingers wouldn't be scattered curiosities, they'd be treated exactly like tailed beast chakra, dangerous enough that entire villages would build systems around containing them, and powerful enough that whoever consumed one would essentially become a jinchuriki for a being with human-level intelligence and centuries of combat memory instead of an ancient 9-tailed fox. That's arguably more dangerous, because tailed beasts are raw power without much strategy, while Sukuna is raw power wrapped around a mind that has already won every war it has ever fought. Remember that relationship problem Jinchuriki normally face, the constant struggle for dominance over the power inside them. A host who consumed one of Sukuna's fingers wouldn't be wrestling with a beast driven by instinct and old grudges. They'd be sharing space with a fully formed personality, patient, intelligent, and completely uninterested in cooperation unless it served him directly. That's a losing negotiation from the very first second. Reverse cursed technique adds one more twist. Regeneration already exists in the Naruto world through medical ninjutsu and cell-based techniques, but nothing there heals as instantly or as completely as what Sukuna can do to himself mid-battle. Paired with a body that can casually erase Sage Mode enhanced fighters using pure cutting force, you get an opponent who doesn't slow down, doesn't tire the normal way, and doesn't stay wounded long enough for anyone to capitalize on an opening. Sage users win fights by outlasting opponents through sheer stamina and natural energy. Against Sukuna, outlasting stops being a strategy because he can simply undo the damage that time and exhaustion are supposed to inflict on him. Strip away the setting, strip away the energy source, strip away every label either universe gives its power, and you're left with the same conclusion either way. Sukuna was never dangerous because of cursed energy. He was dangerous because he mastered control, exploited structural weaknesses no one else thought to attack, and refused to leave himself vulnerable in any way his enemies could exploit. Chakra or curses, Konoha or Heian Japan, the king of curses doesn't need a new world to conquer. He just needs a body, a mind, and something left to cut.